Microsoft has announced some big changes coming to Xbox Game Pass, including a major price hike. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody, and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about the day's biggest news story, that being these changes that are coming to Xbox Game Pass and the $10 price hike that is coming to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Now, it's been a bit over a year since the last shakeup and everything happened to the Xbox Game Pass subscription service. I believe it was in July of 2024 when Microsoft got rid of Xbox Live Gold and then added, made it a 3-tier service with a Game Pass Core at the bottom, Game Pass Standard in the middle, Game Pass Ultimate at the top, kind of reshuffled around what each tier offered you feature-wise, benefit-wise, so on and so forth. We are now doing the same thing again here, We still have 3 tiers. The names are a bit different though. So the bottom tier that was Game Pass Core is now called Game Pass Essential. It is still going to be $10 though. It's not changing in price. The middle tier, Game Pass Standard, is now being called Game Pass Premium. That is still staying at $15 per month. Nothing is changing there. Game Pass Ultimate is still being called Game Pass Ultimate. The price of that is changing though. I'm gonna get to that in a second though. I already kind of mentioned it before, but I'm gonna double back to that. We're gonna circle back to that. Okay. Now across all the tiers, some features are changing. So now across all of them, all of the tiers are going to be able to have access to cloud streaming. That is not going to be limited to just Game Pass Ultimate, which is very good. Also now, across all the tiers, every single Game Pass tier is going to be getting a bit of a bump in terms of the games that are available in its game catalog, like the number of games that are available in that game catalog. That is also a very, very, very good thing right there. Another thing, Game Pass Premium will be getting all first-party titles, first-party specifically, like for first-party published titles. So anything published by Xbox Game Studios will be coming to Xbox Game Pass Premium within the first year of their release. So Premium will not be getting Xbox Game Studios games on day one, but it will get them within 365 days of its release, with a caveat on that. We're going to double back to that caveat in a moment as well. So this is when we move on up to to Ultimate. Ultimate, like I said before, everything that was the same with Ultimate is still staying the same, except that price. The price for Ultimate is now going to run you $30 per month. It is no longer $20 per month. Game Pass Ultimate is now $30 per month, which is absolutely wild to say. It is still giving you all the same benefits as before, with the added addition of, on November 18th, Fortnite Crew, that subscription service, will be bundled in to Game Pass Ultimate. Also, as of today, Ubisoft Plus Classics, their catalog, that is in Game Pass Ultimate as of today, which is good. That's cool. And I'm gonna, again, circling back to that day one thing. Yes, you are getting your Xbox Game Studios day one releases here. On top of that, the Microsoft also says that Ultimate will be getting access to 75 day one releases each year. I don't know if that just means this year or just every year, but that's a lot of day one releases there, which is great. But that specifically also includes Call of Duty. Game Pass Ultimate, the Ultimate tier, is the only tier where you will be getting a Call of Duty game, not just on day one, but within the first year of its release. That is not going to be a thing for the premium tier, where you will be getting Xbox Game Studios published titles within the first year of their release. Microsoft was kind of very sneaky about that. It had it as like the tiny fine print on the graphic that they made explaining all this, but no Call of Duty on day one or within the first year of launch for Xbox Game Pass Premium subscribers. So if you are a premium subscriber right now, because if whatever tier you were already in before, you automatically got bundled into the new version of that tier. So if you were standard before, you're premium now. If you were core before, you are essential now. If you are a Game Pass Premium subscriber, you will not be playing Call of Duty Black Ops 7 this year for the price of your subscription with your Game Pass subscription on day one. or at least until whenever it comes out this year, like 1 year after that. I think it comes out like November something or another. I forgot. I think it's like beginning of November when Black Ops 7 comes out. I'm so unplugged from Call of Duty right now. But basically, you will not be playing Black Ops 7 with your Game Pass subscription until like middle of November next year, which is disappointing for some, I'm sure, or many out there. So many big changes here coming to the subscription service across the board, especially that ultimate tier. So if you've been on social media at all today, you've probably seen the storm of backlash that Microsoft has been getting in the wake of this announcement, understandably so. For me, I myself am not a fan of this price hike, specifically for Ultimate. It is not a good move, I feel like, in any way, shape, or form. Like that $30 price point, I personally never thought we'd get to this $30 price point anytime soon. I figured like if it was to get there, it'd be a long ways away, but we're already here now, 2025. It's very surreal to think this is the reality we're in right now. But the thing about it is that $30 price point, there's many layers to this. Number one, it goes against what Game Pass originally stood for, what it originally started as. Game Pass was originally a thing that was meant to be your gateway into just easy open access to Xbox's entire first-party lineup. Just a quick, easy subscription. You get access to all these games. No strings attached, aside from your subscription, of course. And then after that, it became, we get all these other games day one releases as well. That's fantastic. That's awesome. And we still only have to pay, a relatively, small fee, a subscription fee to get that. That's great. And then they added even more games to the Game Pass library, and then they added the cloud streaming and so on and so forth. They added more features to it, and the price was reasonable. Be that, $15 or whatever it was a bit before that, because it was something cheaper before it was $15. I cannot remember exactly. Time is not in working with my memory right now. But the point being, Game Pass was an easy way to have access to a large library of games, and that was really what it was supposed to be about. An easy way for people who might not be able to afford to buy a bunch of new games or buy all of these games. It's just a way for you to get on in and have access to them and be able to play them as long as they were in the service. And it was great at that. And even at the current price of what it was before this new change of $20 per year, that was still a very good deal. Even if you were like me, where you have an Xbox but barely play it, it was one of those things where you could kind of just like let the subscription, run its course every single month in the background without thinking too much of it. Because it's $20, it's not that big a deal, and whenever I want to play my Xbox, I just have access to these games, and I can guarantee these day one releases, so I can play them and do content for them whenever I want to. That was awesome. But $30, that's where you start pricing people out, especially in this day and age where subscriptions are getting more and more expensive. The cost of living in the US specifically is getting more and more expensive. And to be clear, the prices I said are originally about these new tiers are US specific. The prices might be different elsewhere in the world. Those are just the prices as they are in the US. But with the way the current economy is in the US, company's gonna company, corporation's gonna corporation. They're gonna do what they gotta do for their own bottom line. But it's just a bitter pill to swallow, and it just reads as Microsoft. It reads as like a couple different things. One, it reads as Microsoft just trying to price gouge as much as they can from the Xbox community. Especially in light of the Xbox consoles getting price increases across the board, which, to Microsoft's credit, that is not entirely their fault. A lot of that is definitely owed to the tariffs that have been applied thanks to Donald Trump. Trump sucks. Sorry, not sorry. So because of that, now the Series X, just a regular Series X, will cost you $650, which is absolutely wild to think. Because when it was like, $500 when it first came out. And then after that, we also have the fact that that was actually the second, not forgot about that. That was the second price hike for Xbox Series consoles this year. They already had their prices raised earlier this year, back in May. So getting two price hikes in a year for the consoles is crazy. Then we have the ROG Ally handheld devices, the ROG Ally Xbox Ally at, what is it, $600 for the white one and $1,000 for the Ally X, the top tier one. Just absolutely wild. So to have all that happen and then you announce these price hikes as well for Game Pass, it just really feels like Microsoft is just trying to squeeze as much money out of the Xbox community as they can, and it's not a good look. It doesn't feel great, to be quite honest. There's also the fact that from my perspective, again, this is just my perspective, these changes, I know that, Microsoft has been shifting its priorities, shifting their vision for what Xbox is over the past couple years, to where Xbox is no longer just about the box. Xbox is now an ecosystem that goes beyond the box. Xbox is your laptop, your computer, your TV, your phone, your car now, apparently. Xbox is on handheld devices that are like on PC gaming handhelds. Xbox is just anything and everything that can run the platform, that can run the ecosystem. And I get that. But right now, it just, with all these different things and this price change here, it just feels like Microsoft is trying to pivot in so many different ways, because they do one thing, it doesn't really work the way they want to, so they pivot another way to go in a different direction and see if that works for them, but then that doesn't really work for them. So now they're pivoting another way to try and make their vision work and all. And it just seems like there's no real sense of direction. It kind of feels like throwing darts at a wall, throwing darts at a board, and trying to see what sticks and what ends up landing and working for the Xbox audience and for the Xbox brand as a whole. It's really sad and unfortunate to see, just in my opinion. And I mean, these are just immediate thoughts. I have not had time to really sit and think and delve deep into all my thoughts on this topic right here. But this $30 price hike, man, it just doesn't feel good. And to be fair, I want to also say that, like, what they're adding to Game Pass Ultimate, it's not bad stuff, and it does undeniably add value to the subscription. But do I really, like, how much is, like, most people gonna care about the Fortnite Crew subscription or the Ubisoft Classics catalog stuff? Like, for most people, is it worth paying an extra $10 for things that you probably are not going to use or care about at all, or will use maybe once in a blue moon? Probably not. And that's where it gets into now the fact that the lower tiers for Game Pass, those being Essential and Premium, are much better deals, in my opinion, for most people than Ultimate is. Premium now, you have access to a bunch of different games. You still get your Xbox first-party games, not day one, unfortunately, but you will get them within 360, within a year of release, which is better than nothing, I guess. And you have online multiplayer across the board, cloud streaming across the board. So there are things and benefits to them that make those tiers more worthwhile, especially since their prices are not changing at all, that make them seem like more of a better fit for people who might have had Ultimate before, just let it just run and charge their card every single month but barely touch their Xbox, or didn't take full advantage of everything that Ultimate gave them but they liked just what it did. Now you gotta just go back down to Premium and just do what you gotta do and just take advantage of what that does for you. And instead of playing Xbox Game Studios games first day of release, day one, you say, you know what, I will buy my games, and you just end up being more selective about the games that you buy, shifting your purchasing strategies. I don't know, there's so many aspects and layers to this conversation. It's honestly wild. Like, you could have a conversation with this about how, we could bring up the is Game Pass profitable conversation, and how that's been a thing for years. Is Game Pass profitable? How is it? Yes, it is. No, it's not. They said it is. They said it's not. It can't be. Who's lying? They're telling the truth. And like now, like you see this $30 price increase for Ultimate, and once again, it brings up that question of Game Pass, is it really profitable? Can it actually be profitable if they're bumping the price up this much to try and, undeniably make up the lost cost, the lost revenue they'd be getting for people actually buying their games, especially when Xbox consoles really aren't selling all that well in comparison to its competitors, when, you know, the games in general on Xbox, the platform, the console itself, definitely, you know, they're not going to be doing as good as they are on other platforms because of just that whole, the trained mindset of just getting the game through a subscription. There's just so many layers to this conversation, honestly. Far too many for me to really sit and dig into in this video. I just really wanted to get some immediate thoughts here on this. But you know, at the end of the day, what am I going to be doing with my subscription for Game Pass? Right now, I'm subscribed to Ultimate. I will almost certainly be canceling that subscription while I drop down to Premium or cancel it entirely. I have yet to decide and make up my mind because, you know, I could go either way on it. I barely use my Xbox, not because of any, you know, ill will or ill thoughts on Xbox, but just, you know, PS5, PlayStation is my primary system. It's the one I'm mainly playing all my games on. My Xbox is really far if I want to play an Xbox first party game day and date or whatever for content, or just for my own personal enjoyment, then I'll play it on my Xbox. But other than that, I really play my PlayStation. So I don't know. I can see myself going either way, but I know many people are not happy with this. Many people have been changing their minds and canceling the subscriptions or dropping down to lower tiers. I don't know how this is going to pan out for Microsoft. I don't know if they're going to about face on this and change reverse course, similar to how they did when they said, hey, we're going to start charging $80 for our games this holiday season. And then like a couple days later, they said, no, we're not doing that actually. Never mind. We're walking that back. Nintendo can do that. We cannot. I don't know. I honestly do not know. All I know right now is that Game Pass Ultimate used to be a fantastic deal. As everyone said, used to be the best deal in gaming. And one could argue that with everything that they are adding to it now, it still is. And on paper, yes, it still is when you look at the things it's offering. But when you think about the price and what Game Pass was supposed to be, it's not really the best deal in gaming anymore. It is pricing you out really hard, adding things that many people probably won't care about or weren't subscribing to the service for. They're just fine benefits, but why am I paying $30 for these other things that I don't want or care about when the main draw of Game Pass has always been day one releases from Xbox Game Studios and any other day one release. That's always been the draw. And to now have that specific draw bundled in and have it attached to these other stuff at $30 per month is absolutely wild, especially if you're not going to be using your Xbox much, if there aren't going to be too many day one releases each month, if those games aren't even going to be all that great when they come out. That's $30 a month. That's like almost half the price of a game. That's $360 per year. There is no yearly subscription option to kind of like subsidize this cost of Game Pass Ultimate. There's just so many factors to this that make it so disappointing and frustrating, and just like Microsoft once again stepping on a rake and smacking itself in the face, just one rake after another, raising the prices of the consoles, $1,000 Xbox Ally X, this one right here. It's just one thing after another. And, you know, it kind of makes me wonder again, in light of everything, all the changes Microsoft's been doing, their vision of the future and all, I do wonder what the future of Xbox brand is, what the future of the platform, the ecosystem is. Is Xbox just going to be a third-party publisher that, you know, has its ecosystem and just you put your games on it and that's that? Or is Xbox actually still going to be sticking around as a hardware manufacturer and a real player in the game space in the same way they used to be, in the same way that Sony and Nintendo are after this next generation? Because with the way things are looking right now, I honestly do not think so, and I believe that they are setting themselves up and starting to pave the road for them to ease their way on out the door and either be just, well, not either be, to just straight up be a third-party company. We'll see what happens though. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comment section below. I know the video was a bit long. I know it might have seemed all over the place and scatterbrained and rambly. That's kind of how I am when I'm just speaking off the dome and I don't have things written out. Again, ComfySpot is meant to be a place where we just sit down and have a casual conversation. So I hope that you enjoyed this video at the very least. Leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And again, let me know down in the comment section below what you're going to be doing with your Xbox Game Pass subscription, if you like these changes and if you don't. And hit the notification bell, that way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The ComfySpot, and we'll talk next time. Have a good one.